Hey Danger Noodles, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be part of an Unsolved, hopefully a series I can get started here on this channel where we talk about very local, very maybe not well known cases of missing children, unsolved murders, just to get their stories out there. Today I'm going to talk about one that hits very, very close to home. I remember this event happening. I remember the search and rescue events. Even to this day, I still see people with the slogan that they came up for on their car. But today, we're going to talk about the sad and unfortunate passing of Nevaeh Buchanan. Nevaeh Buchanan was born on February 3rd, 2004 in MONROE, Michigan, which is probably about a half hour from where I live. Nevaeh was a beautiful, normal 5-year-old little girl who loved animals and especially her black lab Tank. People who knew Nevaeh say that she was shy and a little timid, but had a smile that could light up a room and you'd instantly fall in love with her. Unfortunately, on May 24th, 2009, when Nevaeh was 5 years old, she was playing outside when Nevaeh went missing. A massive search went underway in MONROE, and I remember it being everywhere. There were ribbons tied to trees, there were pictures of her everywhere. It was all over the news. Everyone had shirts that said "Justice for Nevaeh," and that was I still see it on cars today. People who have decals say "Justice for Nevaeh." It was a very big deal to find this little girl, which it should have been. And unfortunately, after a painful 11 days of searching, Nevaeh's body was found buried in a shallow grave and covered in concrete at the banks of the Raisinville River in Michigan. I remember where I was the day that she was found because I was actually at work, and I worked for a bowling alley at the time, and it was summer, so we weren't too busy, but we had a family in the bowling alley, and they had asked to watch the news because there had been somebody had said something about there being a press conference about the Nevaeh case, and I remember them sitting in the bar when they made the announcement that they'd found Nevaeh's body and that she was no longer living. And this family, I don't know if they had like a personal connection to the family or anything, but they were, visibly upset, and it really upset a lot of people. This was just a little girl. She, obviously didn't deserve this. So after they reported that she had been found and that she was no longer with us, the autopsy reported that she had choked on dirt and may have been buried alive. The autopsy report basically said that it was asphyxiation due to the dirt and that it looked like someone had held her face down in the dirt and held her down as they buried her. And they questioned a lot of people. I remember the family was all questioned, neighbors, it was crazy. It has been roughly 10 years. Well, not has been 10 years, 2009, 2019, 10 years. And Nevaeh Buchanan's case still remains unsolved. It's been a really long time, and when you say Nevaeh Buchanan around this area, people know exactly who you're talking about, but I don't think people know that they still haven't solved her murder, that they still don't know who did it. They have, suspicions, but they haven't come out and said, yes, we know that, X, Y, and Z killed her. So, when I did some research on where the case is now 10 years later, I did find a quote from a family member who answered the question, what do authorities have to say now? And it says, quote, "They say they have leads, but nothing comes up." So as of right now, Nevaeh Buchanan's case is still open. The family still doesn't have answers. We are still looking for whoever murdered this innocent little girl. The Monroe County Sheriff's Department did release a statement earlier last year. They have a very strong suspect who has not been named, but he is in prison on unrelated charges, but they won't release anything else other than that. This was a really close to home case, and I remember it very clearly when it happened, and it was very sad when they did find her. And I really hope that even if like 10 people see this video, that the name Nevaeh Buchanan sparks something in somebody and somebody's able to come forward with some information to help the family find some closure. So I'm gonna leave some links in the description below as to where you can leave tips if you know anything about what happened to little Nevaeh. There's a Justice for Nevaeh email that her family has kept open all these years that you can contact. You can also contact the Monroe County Sheriff's Department, which I'll leave the number down below in the description as well, if you have any information that can lead to bringing justice to Nevaeh and her family. So I know this wasn't a very fun video, but I think it's really important that these cases that are unsolved, that, you know, maybe made local or slight, headline news in some areas, but it's been 10 years and it's been forgotten about. I do think they're still really important, and I really think it's important to bring justice to these families so that they can have some closure when losing a loved one, especially a child like Nevaeh. So I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, I'll see you guys later. Bye.